Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Today's topic, we're going to talk about taking notes. It's a short title. Now, I'm bringing this topic up for this reason. I came out of a meeting today, and a meeting is supposed to be an event to where you gather information. One thing that seems clear to me is that we forget what's being said. We don't document it. I'm bringing up the taking notes because it's imperative that we do that in case something happens. I work as a construction manager for the Indiana Department of Transportation, and I have my own company, Quality Control and Inspection Services Incorporated. And one thing that I do every day, I have a little journal for myself. I take notes. Taking notes shows that you don't have to memorize the information. And if you list what time the event took place and the day, the month, and the date, it's much easier for you to go back and utilize it as a reference. When you deal with courts, you always see the lawyer and the judge. They got a pen, paper. What they're doing, they're taking notes. They're trying to extrapolate evidence. And they're doing that because proper note taking allows you to disseminate information. Now, when I mean disseminate, it means to spread the information out to come to a conclusion of what really happened. What we have in America today, we utilize our computerized devices too much. And I always ask this simple question. What happens if your computer goes down? What are you going to do? Are you going to forget that life still goes on? Or are you going to find an alternative way? It might not be convenient. I didn't say comfortable, but convenient. You're going to pick up a pen and a pad or a pencil and a pad, and you're going to take notes. Note taking is very important for everything we do. When you're in a business meeting, when you go to an interview, and let me bring up the interview for a moment. When I interview people, one of the first things that I look at is, did you bring a pad with you? Because if you're interviewing for a management position, I'm giving you answers to questions that you're asking me. And you're writing them down. And at the end of the day, once you have been given the information that I've conveyed to you, you can ask me questions. And then when you ask me a question, I'm going to give you an answer. But I'm going to write down all the information that you are giving me in an interview. When I do videos, as you know it, and I do it right here, I take information, take notes right here. This is my script. It's my outro script that I typed up for myself. Why is it useful? Because if I forget something, it's much easier for me to go down and reference the source. That way I'm not on camera bumbling. I don't want to be in the pressure stage of having to memorize something. And when you feel like that, this is when you refer to your notes. A PowerPoint presentation. It's a form of notes. And when you're speaking, you utilize the notes that you've taken to put into that presentation to deliver it to your audience. I know that this video might be boring to some people, but it's absolutely necessary because note-taking has gone by the wayside. I can tell you, in a meeting especially, I see more people tinkering with their cell phones. You know, it's funny. We have the Samsung Galaxy Note. I have the Note 5. It has features that you can write notes. Have I ever used it? No. It's got a stylus. It's got software that looks like paper, but I don't need to use it. When you have notes, you have a record, a hard copy. Why is a hard copy very good? Because you can go and make other copies. For example, let's talk about a meeting again. When I present a meeting, and I work in the construction field as a manager, what I do, I type meeting minutes. I distribute the meeting minutes, and I set it up with the day the meeting takes place, when it begins, when it ends, and what we're going to talk about. You must have an agenda. And the reason why I have an agenda, that's so we can stay on topic and utilize the information to clear up old business. And if we have new business, we can also list the new business. And once I take the notes, it's just like a stenographer does in court. When a case is presenting itself in front of a judge, what does the stenographer do? That person types the information and makes a transcript, because that transcript is the documentation of the case. That information is saved, and if you have to go back 10 years later, you still have that information on file. Now, you have computers, you can put everything in a database, but again, you must be able to back up the source. When you take notes, you can also set a priority for yourself. You know what you're going to be doing today. And then you could build off of what you're doing today for tomorrow. Note-taking is a good resource. I want everybody to understand that it doesn't give you a tool to memorize. And this is what colleges don't teach anymore. You know, I go to school and I see a lot of students, they don't take notes anymore. Used to be the instructor got from the class, presented the material, and actually highlighted what you were going to have on a test. You wrote it down, you studied, and you took extra notes. Because sometimes information that was going to be on the test, the instructor didn't give it to you. You had to study it. But when you read a book, anything you do, any conversation you have, you take notes. If you're going to work and you have a bad boss, a big thing everybody should do is buy a journal. A journal has a calendar. Go to work and write down each task that you completed during that day. Why is that significant? Because when it comes time to get your performance evaluation, you have a supervisor that said, well, you didn't do this on that day I told you to. Once you open the book up, yes, I did. You have it documented. We had the meeting, because people, they have selective thinking. They have selective hearing because they don't want to be proven wrong. But at the end of the day, when you have written documentation, you set up a plan for yourself. And as long as you stick to the guidelines of what you have written, it's going to make you look organized. And as a employer, manager, a boss, I recommend that all my employees take notes. When you're in school, take notes. If you're having a conversation, particularly if you're doing business, take notes. Note taking is an asset that is basically forgotten because we've utilized technology for long periods of time. Some of us forget how to take notes, just like we forget how to write cursive. It is important to cover yourself in today's society, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's at home. And one big item that's part of note taking is a shopping list. When I go shopping, I know exactly what I'm going to buy. Now, why do I take notes for a shopping list? Case in point, because it teaches me how to stick to that list. And another trick to going shopping too is, going off topic a little bit, always go hungry as well, because you're not going to buy as much food. That way you don't spend as much money. But actually, I'm not going off topic because I'm going to connect the dots and tell you why you have a grocery list. Because if you stick to that grocery list, you don't have to worry about spending sums of money, large sums of money, or money that is going to be spent on something frivolous. In other words, the proper note-taking, it gives you an idea to document events that have taken place, and a proper way of doing it, again, is to understand the date, the time, the year. You can be specific about note-taking, or you can take general notes. Now, I don't like to just take general notes because I'm getting an overview instead of the specifics. I prefer the specifics because they're detailed, and having the specific details, it gives me a better understanding of what needs to be done as far as a task is concerned, and it also gives me an idea of what was said, because sometimes you have to get people to repeat themselves to make sure they said what you heard, but you want them to repeat it again to make sure that they're sure of what they said so you can get them on record. That's right. Note-taking gets people on record. And there's no better place to do that than in the workplace and business. And this is why communication is very important. That's why I say note-taking is a silent form of communication. I'm going to make that the title of this video. Note-taking is a silent form of communication. It's very useful. All you have to do, be proactive. It's a source that's going to save your life. It's going to help you make better decisions. So while we have all the bells and whistles of cell phones, the good old-fashioned note-taking has not disappeared. It is still here to stay. And at the end of the day, we may learn new technologies, but we still have the old-fashioned way of communicating because it's the most powerful. And that's this edition of the 401 Talk Zone Radio Show for Tuesday, November 29th, 2016. You can tune into the 401 Talk Zone Radio Show every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. And if you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone Radio Show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Also, on this channel, this is a channel that's for people who want knowledge. It's an educational channel. So please, be respectful. Knowledge is power. If you have a business that you would like for me to talk about, or a new channel, or topic, just email me at lej 6521 at gmail.com. And I love comments. You can always leave them in my comment section. Now, you have to make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating or pettifogging. And what do I mean by that? Stick to the topic. Don't change the topic. That's what I mean. And if you like the videos as well, give me one of these. A Fonzie thumbs up. If you don't, tell me what I need to improve. Give me a thumbs down. But at the end of the day, we're just having fun. But keep everything in a positive perspective. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed evening. Good night.